We're trying to do business here. Bartle's still eating.
Look at this.
Pretty standard.
That was a commercial break.
Yep.
The whole pizza's almost gone.
Mountain Mike's. Well, the player guest arrived earlier. He was no fool.
No.
So,
He's good.
thanks to Mountain Mike's for providing the pizza. Hopefully there's some still left over for Condors team president Matthew Riley. I told him to be here at 12:30. He's going to be left with the pineapple, I think. But he enjoys that. He likes a good Hawaiian pizza.
Yes.
Busy stretch for the Condors upcoming. Busy stretch the last couple of weeks. Here to break it all down. Condors head coach Troy Mann here on Unleashed. And, Coach, I mean, no real days off here. You got 3-3 on the weekend. We fly on Monday. Tip a Condor last night. A couple days of practice. We're right back at it with Utah this weekend.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, we had the 4-game week, and then last week was not an easy weekend as well. And I think it's kind of good to only have the 2 games this weekend, to be honest with you.
You go into last weekend, and the message to the guys on that Friday night must have been, hey, we want to win this one. It's a 3-3 weekend. Idaho's well-rested. They got us waiting for us on Sunday. We want to win that Friday night game. Didn't win the Friday night game, but bounced back with 2 big efforts on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, it's the first game is always the most important game of the week whenever you're playing a 3 or 4 game set. So the message certainly was that Friday night, and wasn't our best performance. Let's put it that way. I don't know if it was the break, the travel. We weren't sharp, and still, in the game, 3-2 loss, but had some chances to win it. But overall, we just weren't sharp. Our breakout execution, our forecheck. Nevertheless, the message was pretty clear Saturday, and great responses. We clearly deserved the win on Saturday night, and the referee who did all 3 games even said that on Sunday. So it was good. We got the point, and then Sunday was tremendous.
I'm glad he thought we deserved it.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's not often that you get the same ref either for 3 straight games.
Right, yeah.
And the power plays were pretty consistent all 3 games, too.
Yeah, and for sure Sunday's game was one of the best wins. I talked to the guys before the game about every win is a great win. I mean, when you win, you just want to win again. It's just that good a feeling. But there are certain games where you just feel that, this is like unbelievable win. And Sunday, that was my message before the game. And I thought in the third period that they looked like the team that was coming off the 3-3, and we were fresh. So. Kudos to the guys and the character in the room. And even though we set 4 points as the goal, we'll take the 3. It was a good 3 points. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's not easy as well to you had the overnight bus trip too in between Saturday and Sunday, and Utah is playing very good hockey. I think they're flying under the radar right now. They're almost lights out on home ice.
Well, I mean, I seen a stat yesterday, and that'll be a message Friday that they are 10-2-4 since December 26th, which actually makes them the hottest team in the league. So since they came in and lost both games to us there at that one stretch, they've played some really good hockey. I think Tim Brenham is a good coach, good young coach. They seem to be well structured. Maybe not a lot of fancy resumes, if you break down their roster comparative to maybe Idaho, who's got some high-powered resumes. But they work hard, and their goaltending, especially Dell, has been very good. And that's what happens.
They needed a goaltender to steal the game on Saturday with Dell coming up big there in the third period. You guys kind of needed a goaltender to step up on Sunday, and LB gets it done once again. Talk about just the feeling on the bench, especially when we're on the power play. We give up those penalty kill breakaways for the Idaho Steelheads.
Plural. Breakaways, plural.
There was at least 2 or 3 grade A plus opportunities on your own power play, but do you get any momentum when a goalie makes a save like that, especially shorthanded?
Absolutely. I mean, they had 3, you're right, they had 3 grade A's on 2 breakaways. Our power play was not sharp early. I mean, we had a couple really good looks on that power play before the breakaway, but, we turned a couple pucks over, and you're right, LB makes 2 huge saves and keeps us in it, and over the course of the 60 minutes, their best chances probably came on the power play, which I'm going to blame on you. We talked
about the power play.
Well, we talked about the power play being 23%, hottest in the league since mid-November, blah, blah, blah. And then we, what happens.
Blame the radio guy.
Let's blame the radio guy.
We've talked about LB over the last couple of weeks. He's, terrible recently.
If he does start looking terrible, then you can blame
eventually.
it on you.
We've talked about the penalty kill for the last, month and a half.
Our penalty kill
The
sucks.
penalty kill, it's terrible. Yeah, it's awful.
System doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
I think it's at like 92% over the last month and a half, but it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, and we got to blame Holtby for the miscommunication with the 30-minute wait at 3:30 in the morning in the hotel.
For sure.
He is the travel coordinate on the road. There we go.
On the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I can't believe you're blaming hotel keys at the Grove Hotel on me.
What about when the hotel says we can't take you to the airport at 7? It's got to be 7:15, and everyone's down there waiting at 7 o'clock.
I was down there with
team services guy.
Many players at 6:45 because it was a 7 o'clock shuttle, and then I find out at 7:15.
Some guys didn't show up till 6:59 though.
The radio guy.
They were not 15 minutes early or 10 minutes late.
All team services radio guy. Yeah. Move on.
Brutal.
Brutal. That could have been an ugly.
That could have been an ugly.
Yeah.
That could have been an ugly.
Certainly not a grade A performance.
All right, I got these cards in my hand. I don't know if we can. Bart, can you go show them?
Let me get it for you.
Yeah, go diagram those. Yeah. They're the good, the bad, and the ugly. Coach, before we get to the uglies, just kind of walk us through what these mean, when they're given out, and what goes on with them.
Let's have autofocus. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, just to briefly give you a synopsis of what, every team does some kind of post-game awards, whether it's a hard hat award. You see, on the NHL Network, teams, they may have a funny hat. In New York,
Army jacket.
Yeah, New York does the New York the
Broadway hat.
Broadway hat. So everybody's got a concept, and I'm not going to take credit for it. It was a good friend of mine, the assistant coach with the Anaheim Ducks, Bob Woods, who started it a few years ago with his partner Mark French, who I ended up working with. So, it's a borrow and steal type of thing, but I thought it was excellent.
It's like hockey in general.
Yeah, so it's from the movie The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And
Clint Eastwood.
And most of our players, or all our players, didn't even have a clue what the concept was, or even the song, because we played the song for about 30 seconds.
Well, your captain's 24 years old, so.
Exactly. So the concept is good. So after a big win, you recognize good performances, and you give a player the good, and he gets a card. The bad, a blocked shot, a great penalty kill, a good fight, maybe a massive hit would be the bad.
So the bad is in
bad to the bone. Yeah, badass.
Pretty much.
All right.
Yeah. And then
Can
the
I say that?
ugly.
I'm allowed to say that.
I don't know if I can say
And then
that.
the ugly is just something funny that may happen during the course of the hockey game, and they're tough to find. And
But we found a few.
and you need to write them down.
I text them from the broadcast.
Yeah, Holtby's involved. I got Andy
good.
involved because guys got to recognize it. Now, the boys are really into it because
pretty
if something
fun.
happens funny or silly on the ice, the guys will go, "Hey, there's an ugly," and you write it down on your game card, and then
right.
you make a decision.
So here are some uglies.
We've got some examples here. This is against San Francisco. We had a number of uglies against San Francisco. Leachy here. This was a good one there where he got a little flip, and this one here, watch off the face-offs, his little slash, with Thurber. And then here, Cunny, showing his great skating ability.
I like that one. He just pauses and waits now.
And then we got one little, I don't know what happened here off the rush here, but he blows a wheel. We had one from the other night. This is in Boise the other night with Tremblay. Watch him hit the sun.
Missing it by 16
And then another one where Thurber, poor guy, gets a stick infraction here. Watch this. No penalty on the call. That was pretty funny. And then the ugliest one of all, and if you can pause this one right here before we look at this one, we do at the odd time give it to the opposition or maybe the referee or potentially like Gars. We gave it to Ryan Garlock for chirping me after a San Francisco goal. So he got the ugly one night for chirping me.
after the trade, you're talking last
Well,
night.
we trade. He gets an assist, and he skates by the bench, and he says to me, "Hey, man, how's that grade A?" Because I do talk a lot about grade A chances, positive and negative.
Wow.
But here,
I love hockey players.
this one's great. Watch this one. This is the 77 there who, watch this. Up.
Shoots it
I
in the
thought that
seats.
was probably the ugliest of them all. But we did give it to Pistol that night.
Yes. Can you explain what happened? Andrew Carroll, and we had him up on the video board, and we had the two truths and a lie, and one of his truths was he's always the last guy on the bus. Well, let me tell you, folks, he's the last guy on the bus, the last guy on the ice, the last guy on the plane, the last guy at the team meal, the last guy to workouts. He's dedicated. Don't get me wrong. But what happened when warm-ups came?
He's got this routine where, he steps on literally, he puts his jersey on. His routine is down to a science. But in saying that, he wanted to be on time for the warm-up, and he actually put his jersey on, and he still had the hanger on it. So he flies out onto the ice, and the hanger ends up on the ice because he didn't even have time to take the hanger out of the jersey.
Put the jersey.
How do you even put it on with a hanger on it? How does that even happen?
Well, that's a good question, but it's Andrew Carroll. Today he got fined. I blew the whistle. 9:58 and 30 seconds. So he really technically had a minute 30, but I blew the whistle. And this guy, he was on the ice 30 seconds late today because he's got it down to a science. When the whistle goes, I don't understand it, but whatever makes it work.
And believe me, it's tough for Coach to find Andrew Carroll because he's one of those in the good house. He's not in the doghouse.
No.
But
Carroll,
rules
no.
are rules. Rules are rules.
Rules are the rules. But he makes it work. I don't know how he does, but if you want to consider him a last-minute guy on time, that's what he is.
My favorite ugly of the entire year actually was in San Francisco. It was the first game. It was a preseason game. It was the very first time Andy Hahn, Condors athletic trainer, had been behind a hockey bench in a game. First shift, took a puck off the eye and had to get stitches. First shift in pro hockey. First everything. The kid's just getting ready. He's getting all geared up, and a puck hits him in the eye. I thought that was the best ugly.
That was a good ugly.
That was a good
ugly. That was exhibition games. We weren't really into that yet. But
no.
Yeah, thanks, Holty.
Certainly an ugly. That was my favorite ugly.
Well, what we were discussing earlier is maybe every show we can have you hand out good, bad, and the uglies as well. For example, his sweater last week. That probably would have
the mustard one.
Yeah,
that's an ugly.
That would have been an ugly.
Yeah,
my mother's gonna have a conversation with him tomorrow.
That's an ugly.
Yeah, my mother's gonna have a conversation.
I didn't mind the blue one.
Practice.
This trip on the blue, same thing. It's a little big on him, but at least the color was acceptable.
Did you make the guys watch the movie? Because
Good,
it's a
bad-
good movie. It's a classic
That should be a
piece
bus
of
movie.
filmmaking.
It's a good.
I'll get on that. Hold on, that's a road thing. I'll get on that.
Maybe Holty as team services guy.
Road travel.
Maybe he can actually get a good for a change.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Road travel. I was at least a 4 this trip.
Hey, you were excellent.
Coach, we appreciate the time.
Thanks, Coach.
As always, we'll step out, take a break. When we come back, Condors D-Man Joe Marciano, a California native, will join us here at Condors Unleashed live from the Dignity Health Studios inside the Bakersfield, California. Stay tuned.